Dawie, fantastic first half by the guys. You kind of seized the momentum, and then just a young side in the second half when the Bulls sort of grabbed the momentum back. It's like they didn't know how to respond, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think the Bulls, we allowed them to get on a bit of a roll, that second half. So, obviously credit to them. So they knew what they had to do at the start of that second half. We were quite clear in terms of, no soft moments. They started a restart, went a little bit out of system, and they actually got into half and scored. So, but it's like I said, it's learning for the boys. So, and also I think maybe that early injury to Lizo, and then Ali had to go on early. That also had a bit of influence in terms of how we could manage the game at the back part of it.
Oh, still, okay. Dawie, obviously very disruptive, losing, I think both your props were injured, kind of early on in the half. But still, you started well in the scrums, and I guess the line-outs, the whole match, you must be pretty pleased with how that went.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think they did a great job in terms of our line-outs, but also disrupting the Bulls. I think we stole a few, disrupted their base, so it was pleasing to see, especially a guy like Gary and Stassi operating as a combination, putting some pressure on the Bulls line-outs. Was pleasing to see.
Just, I'm not sure what happened with the prop situation, because you're watching from what went wrong?
Are you asking me?
Yes. Because I have no idea.
Okay, so that's how I have it. So I probably have to double check. So we lost Lizo quite early. Then Ali Vermaak got a hit sort of in the middle. So we knew Ali probably couldn't finish the game. And at a stage in the second half, Eddie had a bit of problem, so he was in trouble. So we had to make that sub. The rules, as I know it, is that if you make the sub, if you go uncontested scrums, you have to take that extra play off. So you have to go down to 14. So we made the sub before there was a scrum, and then there was confusion with the table, and they sort of went up and down that we can't. Scarra was on then. They said he wasn't a registered front row, but there was no scrum at that stage. So there was a bit of back and forth between the table and the referees. I feel we got it right in terms of just the rules of it. But there was confusion there. The moment there was a scrum, the first scrum, then the table also wanted us to take off a backline player. But my understanding is you can just take a player off. So we're down to 14. So our plan was then to take either Scarra or JJ off, but leave the rest of the backs on. So
It reminded me of the Stade Francais game, if I'm not mistaken. Something similar happened there.
No, and I think that's. I think tactically you need to know what to do in that scenario. So the Bulls actually, when they got a penalty, they went for a scrum, and that forced us to go down to 14, which was clever. So. And we did the same against Stade Francais. So they had to. At a stage, they had proper injuries, and we just said, right, let's take a scrum, and we got them down to actually 13 because they had a card as well.
Just quickly, in terms of your approach to this tournament, I think the Bulls are trying to build a bit of depth. You guys have a slightly different approach. It looks like blooding younger players. So what's your thinking behind the campaign?
Yeah, definitely. We obviously for us it's important to build depth for the Stormers, but our scenario is probably a bit different than the Bulls. They've got quite a big senior squad, where our senior squad's a bit smaller, but we've got like phenomenal young players. So probably pushing those guys quite early. But it was great to see a guy like Ivan Fuller. I think he stood his ground today. A guy like Johnny Roach that played Varsity Cup coming through the system. I thought he was brilliant tonight. So. We want to try and fast track our young players in this tournament, but also try and do well. I mean, I was quite disappointed with the loss tonight. I think at a stage where we were in the game, even that second half, the Bulls played well, but there was a stage where it was a 3-point game, and if we got the momentum, we probably could have got close. So building experience for us is also winning these type of games. Learning from it. As young players, and as a guy like Yuri. It's a fly-off that needs to drive the game. Bloma, that's experienced, needs to know how to drive that as well. So yeah, that's sort of our mindset around it.
Well done. You gave us a bit of fright here. A bit worried over
Yeah.
time, I tell you that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you answered half of my question. Durendo Judy scored 2 tries against the Lions. Faf de Klerk did extremely well.
Yeah.
James did good.
Yeah.
Your opinion of Fuller, how he did, and explain me the decision to put a 19-year-old boy against these old men of the Bulls.
Look, I saw Fuller playing Craven this last year, Craven week, and I just you can just see he's almost he's mature in terms of his power, his physicality, you know. So we were in a scenario we were a little bit thin, you know, in his position, and you know that's an opportunity for us to give him a run, you know. So yeah, but I was really happy, but also like you say, I think. For the unions to get it right, you have to decide: are you going to have quite a senior squad playing this competition, or are you going to have 1 or 2 youngsters that you try to bled early, you know? So luckily for us, that worked out just to see what he's got, you know, and if he can perform here, then there's a lot of stuff that we can build around.
Is it a question that, especially at the Bulls also now, we see that under 21, under 22s, the guys get rid of most of the under 21s and under 22s because they don't have space for them in their senior squads. So bringing in Fuller and all those guys now already, are you trying to see if they would fit into your plans, taking them to the seniors?
Look, if I can answer that, a guy like Fuller for us is, we know he's going to make it, you know, so we're just almost trying to fast track him. But it's true what you say. Our model is probably going a bit more specific in terms of getting guys we know that's able to play at this level, that showed it at a junior level, and now we want to try and get them ready for that as quickly as possible, you know. So yeah.
My final question is, it's almost 80, almost 90 points scored. What do you learn out of a match like that?
I'll speak to my defense coach. No, like I said, I think we did well to score. I thought, you know, that first half in terms of the points we scored was well deserved. You know, the Bulls got a card. We knew what opportunities to take from those cards. You know what to call from it. So that was nice to see. The guys were actually quite clever around that. But also then the Bulls coming out and really understanding where they can put us under pressure to score points. You know, and again, like I said, credit to them. They were really good, you know. Physically, they sort of started getting momentum, and that's always difficult to stop at Loftus.
And do you think that's the future, the high-scoring games? Because then if you go to the test matches and that, the scores drastically reduced.
I think maybe, yeah. I probably don't want to say that's where it's going to go. It's going to be the level, you know. So if you've got really 2 quality sides playing against each other, I don't think it's going to be that high scoring, but it will still be quite intense and quite entertaining. You know, I think sometimes people just want to see tries and see high scoring games, but it's there's some other how can I say scenarios in the game and pressure and etc. You know, which is also really good to see, where it's a bit of an arm wrestle. You know, so I've seen some of the best games where it hasn't been a high scoring games. So. I think the level, if you go higher, it's going to be a little bit closer in terms of that.
Thanks a lot.
Coach, I know you in the ascendancy quite firmly going into the halftime break, but when you looked at what the Bulls had on the bench, was there a bit of looking behind your shoulder in that regard, and what was the halftime team talk like?
Yeah, I think halftime, I told the boys it's. You don't really don't think the job's done, you know. And like you said, I think the Bulls obviously has got a quality bench. You know, a lot of good players coming on, and they knew, obviously coming to altitude for us, that last 20, it's always a bit of a challenge, you know. So, but I thought that first 20 after halftime we weren't good enough, you know. So that's probably where the game went away, and then obviously the Bulls replacements did the job for them.
And when you look at the difference, I would say, in experience between maybe the 2 benches and teams overall, you just mentioned that you released quite a few senior players from the wider URC group, the likes of the junior Pogomelo, Squenzo, Blosses, Limovitz. When you look at this particular scenario where some of the younger guys come up against experienced franchise guys in the Bulls, do you feel as if that they probably were released too soon? They should have had the Curry Cup campaign, or is it, like you said, more about just give the others a quick start?
Yeah, I think that's the scenario we're in now. So it can be a right or wrong decision. We just went for what we wanted to do with the Stormers. I think that's the main priority for us as the union, as the main team, and then try to build a bit of depth around it. So. Like I said, a guy like Fuller coming through, I think Paul de Villiers also played a good game, so it's fast tracking them. They're going to take some shots, they're going to feel it, and it's not going to be easy for them. But I think in a year's time or 6 months' time, we're going to be better for it.
And lastly, you mentioned that Lio Kok injury. Do you know how serious that might be? There's a bit of a concern. I remember him coming out earlier, having been a sub in a Euro C game as well not too long ago.
Yeah. Yes, I think he started first Curry Cup game. He played against the Bulls, also had a bit of a niggle. So I think against the Cheetahs second game. So it's a pity. I think Lizo hasn't had a run. We had 3, 4, 5 games without any injuries. This looks quite a bit serious. So hopefully it's not too bad. But it just feels like he can't get that off his back.
Just on that, if it's serious, is there an opportunity to bring back the likes of the Leon Lions, or is that not
I think in the Curry Cup now he's at Greek Cross, so I'm not too sure what the scenario is exactly with that. But we've got youngsters like Vern Mutombo, great player. I think probably a mistake we made today was having 2 props coming back from injury. With Lizo and Ali. If we had Vern, probably Vern could have gone 60 minutes or 75 minutes, but Ali couldn't, so a good lesson for us in that.
Cool. Ashfaq, are you guys online covered?
Yes, thanks Nunga. Hi Dawie. The kicking tactics seem to work really well in the first half. So Yuri Mattia getting some good height there with his up and unders. Is that maybe something you guys can take forward? Because I know you like to keep ball in hand, and obviously there's brought you a lot of success with the Stormers as well. But that was something different tonight.
Yeah, I think we had a bit of a plan for that first half, like you said. But it's always going to be variation, So we'll know what we're up against. But also you look at your own team and you understand what their qualities is. So we'll plan around that. But for us to have the ability to change our game up, if it's keeping the ball, if it's different type of kicks, if it's running, we'd like to keep that door open for us.
And what was the message at halftime? Obviously 27-3 up in the first half, and the Bulls just scored before halftime. Did you want to change things, or what was the message? Because obviously the Bulls really came back well in second.
Yeah, I probably said the message didn't work. So. No, I actually told the guys, like I said earlier, it was it's an opportunity for us to make sure that now the next 20 minutes is going to be important, because I know the Bulls would come out firing. They wouldn't have been happy with that first half. Actually, the scenario just after halftime, we received the restart. We sort of went for a pick and go, which is not in our system, and we gave the Bulls the opportunity to attack against us. So I think there we made 1 or 2 mistakes. From a system point of view, that gave them momentum, and then at Loftus it's not easy to turn momentum.